We are talking about sustaining the commons, and we're in chapter 2, which sets up the theoretical background, and we are trying to define institutions. And these are not institutions in the sense of brick and mortar buildings, but these are sets of rules and norms that govern human interactions, especially those that are repeated and structured. We used many examples. In this particular podcast, we are talking about the importance of the biophysical conditions, as we call them, and the attributes of the community that is interacting, let's say, with among itself and across other communities. And obviously, biophysical boundaries, we talked about the university and how that affects the classroom structure and syllabus and evaluation criteria, etc. But you can think of many such boundaries depending on whether you are in a free country or a democratic country versus a country that is, ruled by, let's say, a non-democratic system. Your behavior and your allowed behaviors may depend on what rules and regulations there are. So it's not just rules, but also norms, which means typically societies have certain expectations within, and there are positive and negative impressions. You get certain country may be seen as full of people who do cyber frauds, or certain countries, certain groups of people within a country may be seen as very charitable and always doing social work, and many such examples exist. So we transition from rules and norms and biophysical boundaries to attributes of the community, and these attributes are also cultural traits, and they are often, for example, there are rules for how to clear snow in New York is the example used in the book, and you don't have a similar rule in Phoenix, Arizona, where it doesn't snow, but they have rules for water and the way people in New York think in general about weather, climate, snow, or social behavior may be different than people in Phoenix. I'm not saying anything negative, but generally there are cultural attributes that are location specific, region specific, caste specific, religion specific, and they are not always negative, but they do form a kind of a structure within which interactions go smoothly, because everybody knows what to expect in terms of the norms and the rules. So that we talked about driving on one side or the other depending on where you are, but it applies to all the interactions, including in schools or markets or concerts or playgrounds and so on. Okay.